The space around the human colony ship USS Liberty was quiet and peaceful. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge looking out at the stars through the main window. His ship looked like any other human transport vessel carrying families and supplies to new worlds. The Liberty moved slowly through space with its cargo holds full of farming equipment and building materials. Lieutenant Kate Sullivan sat at her station checking communication signals. She was the ship's diplomatic officer and had been trained to handle first contact situations. Her job was to keep things peaceful when they met new alien species. The Liberty had been traveling for 3 months toward a new colony world when their sensors picked up something unusual. "Captain, we have multiple contacts approaching from the port side," said Kate as she looked at her screen. "They appear to be alien vessels, sir." Jake walked over to look at the readings. 5 large ships were moving toward them in a formation that looked military. The ships were sleek and dark with strange markings on their hulls. They were bigger than the Liberty and seemed to be built for war. "Open a channel," Jake ordered. "Let's see what they want." The main screen flickered and showed the face of an alien creature. It had gray skin, 4 eyes, and sharp teeth. The alien wore what looked like a military uniform with medals and symbols. Behind him, other aliens worked at strange control panels. "I am Admiral Vextok of the Cathari Empire," the alien said in a harsh voice. "You are in our space. Prepare to be boarded for inspection." Jake kept his face calm and friendly. "Greetings, Admiral. I am Captain Jake Morrison of the human vessel Liberty. We are peaceful traders and colonists heading to establish a new settlement. We request safe passage through your territory." The alien's 4 eyes narrowed. "Humans, another primitive species, trying to spread across the galaxy. You will submit to our authority or face the consequences." Kate stepped forward. "Admiral, we come in peace. We have no weapons and pose no threat to your empire. We simply wish to pass through and continue our journey." Admiral Vextok laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "All species say they come in peace. Then they build armies and challenge our rule. The Cathari have dominated this sector for 1,000 years. We will not allow another species to grow strong enough to threaten us." Jake raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "We understand your concerns, Admiral, but we are just colonists looking for a new home. Our ship carries farming equipment and families, not weapons." The alien admiral turned to speak with his officers. Jake could see them pointing at screens and discussing something in their strange language. After a few minutes, Vextok turned back to face the humans. "You will allow our inspection teams to board your vessel. If you resist, we will disable your ship and take what we want anyway." Jake looked at Kate, who shook her head slightly. They both knew they couldn't allow aliens to board their ship. Too many secrets would be revealed. "Admiral, I must respectfully decline your request. We are in international space and have the right to free passage. We mean no harm to your empire." The alien's face twisted with anger. "You dare refuse the Cathari Empire? Your species will learn to respect our power." The communication ended abruptly. On the main screen, Jake could see the alien ships moving into attack positions. Their weapons were charging, and targeting systems were locking on to the Liberty. "All hands, prepare for possible hostile action," Jake announced over the ship's communication system. "This is not a drill." Kate looked worried. "Captain, should we try to run?" Jake smiled grimly. "No, Kate. Running would only confirm their suspicions. Besides, we have orders to maintain our cover until absolutely necessary." The first alien ship fired a warning shot that passed close to the Liberty's hull. The energy beam was bright blue and left a trail of glowing particles in space. It was clearly meant to intimidate the humans. "They're trying to scare us," Kate said. "Let them think it's working," Jake replied. "Ryan, how are our systems?" Chief Engineer Ryan Parker's voice came over the intercom. "All systems are ready, Captain. Just give the word." The alien ships moved closer, their weapons now fully charged. Admiral Vexstock's face appeared on the screen again. "This is your final warning, humans. Submit now, or we will disable your ship and take what we want by force." Jake looked at his crew. They all knew what was coming. The peaceful facade they had maintained for months was about to end. The time for pretending had passed. "Admiral, you are making a serious mistake. I strongly advise you to reconsider your actions." The alien laughed again. "Threats from a primitive species. You amuse me, human. Fire on their engines. Disable them but keep the ship intact. I want to see what treasures these humans carry." The lead alien ship fired a full-power energy beam directly at the Liberty's rear section. The beam struck the ship's hull with tremendous force, sending sparks and debris flying into space. Alarms began sounding throughout the Liberty. Jake stood calmly as his ship shook from the impact. "Well, Admiral, you've made your choice. You have just committed an act of war against humanity." The alien looked confused. "War? You have no weapons, no military. What can you possibly do against the might of the Cathari Empire?" Jake smiled coldly. "Computer, initiate Protocol 7. Authorization Morrison Alpha 77. The Liberty's computer responded with a mechanical voice. "Protocol 7 initiated. Combat transformation beginning now." Admiral Vexstock's four eyes widened as something impossible began to happen. The Liberty's hull started to shift and change. Metal plates slid apart to reveal hidden compartments. The ship's peaceful exterior began to transform into something far more sinister. "What is happening?" the alien demanded. Jake's smile grew wider. "You wanted to see what we're really carrying, Admiral? Now you'll find out." The Liberty's transformation was like watching a flower bloom in reverse. Where once there had been smooth cargo bay doors, now massive weapon ports opened like hungry mouths. The ship's hull shifted and rearranged itself as hidden armor plating emerged from within. What had looked like a simple transport vessel was becoming something that made the alien ships look like toys. Chief Engineer Ryan Parker worked frantically at his station deep inside the ship. His hands moved across control panels that moments before had been hidden behind false walls. The Liberty's true nature was finally being revealed after months of careful deception. "Power core at full capacity," Ryan reported. "All weapon systems coming online. Defensive grids are active." On the bridge, Weapons Officer Lisa Grant took her position at a console that had risen from the floor. The peaceful diplomatic station, where she had been sitting, was now replaced by a complex array of targeting systems and weapon controls. Her fingers danced across the interface with practiced ease. "Target acquisition complete," Lisa announced. "All enemy vessels are locked and tracked." Captain Jake Morrison watched the alien ships on his screen. They had stopped their advance and were now backing away in confusion. The lead ship was trying to signal the others, but their communications seemed panicked and disorganized. Admiral Vexstock's face appeared on the screen again. His four eyes were wide with shock and fear. "What kind of trickery is this? What are you?" Jake stepped forward, his friendly demeanor completely gone. "We are humans, Admiral, and you have made a very serious mistake." The Liberty was now fully transformed. Gone was the innocent colony ship. In its place stood a vessel of war that dwarfed the alien ships in both size and firepower. Rows of weapons lined its hull like teeth in a predator's jaw. Energy shields shimmered around the ship's surface. "This is impossible," the alien admiral stammered. "Our intelligence report said humans were peaceful traders. You have no military technology." Kate Sullivan, who had been quietly working at her station, looked up with a cold smile. "Your intelligence was wrong, Admiral. Every human ship is built for war. Every human crew is trained for combat. We've been preparing for this moment since we first learned we weren't alone in the galaxy." The alien ships fired their weapons. In desperation, beams of energy struck the Liberty's shields and scattered harmlessly into space. The human ship didn't even shake from the impact. Is that the best you can do? Jake asked calmly. Lisa, show them what real weapons look like. Lisa. Grant's fingers moved across her control panel. Kinetic cannon charging. Target locked on lead vessel. A section of the Liberty's hull opened to reveal a massive weapon. It was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Instead of energy beams, it fired solid projectiles at incredible speed. The first shot struck the lead alien ship's shields and punched through them like they were made of paper. The alien vessel shuddered and began to list to one side. Emergency lights flashed across its hull as its crew tried to repair the damage. How is this possible? Admiral Vexdock demanded. That weapon should not exist. Jake smiled coldly. Humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years, Admiral. We've learned to be very good at it. The Liberty fired again. This time the kinetic round struck the alien ship's weapon systems, destroying them completely. The ship was now helpless, drifting in space without the ability to fight back. All ships, attack formation. Admiral Vexdock ordered his remaining vessels concentrate fire on the human ship. The 4 remaining alien ships moved into position and opened fire with everything they had. Energy beams of every color struck the Liberty's shields, creating a light show that illuminated the darkness of space. But the human ship remained undamaged. Ryan Parker's voice came over the intercom, shields holding at 98%. They're not even scratching us. Jake turned to Lisa. Return fire. Make it count. The Liberty's weapons systems came alive. Multiple kinetic cannons fired simultaneously, sending rounds toward each alien ship. The projectiles moved so fast they were almost invisible, striking their targets with devastating effect. The first alien ship exploded in a ball of fire and debris. The second ship lost its main engines and began spinning out of control. The third ship's bridge was destroyed, killing its command crew instantly. Stop this madness, Admiral Vexdock pleaded. We surrender. Jake shook his head. You attacked a human vessel without provocation. You declared war on humanity. There are consequences for that choice. The Liberty continued its assault. Its weapons were not just powerful, but also smart. Each shot was calculated to cause maximum damage, while keeping the enemy ships intact enough to study later. The human ship fought with a cold efficiency that terrified the aliens. Please, the Admiral begged. We didn't know. We thought you were weak. Kate Sullivan looked at the alien with disgust. That's the problem with bullies. Admiral, you only pick on those you think can't fight back. The 4th alien ship tried to escape, but the Liberty's tracking systems had locked onto it. A single kinetic round struck its engines, leaving it dead in space. This is Commander Steve Collins, a new voice announced over the ship's communication system. All boarding parties report ready. Jake nodded. Proceed with capture operations. Take prisoners for questioning. Small ships began launching from the Liberty's hidden launch bays. They were fast and deadly, designed to capture enemy vessels without destroying them. The alien crews watched in terror as human marines prepared to board their ships. You're monsters, Admiral Vexdock whispered. Jake's expression didn't change. No, Admiral. We're just humans. And you've learned why that should terrify you. The Liberty's medical bay was already preparing to receive alien prisoners. Dr. Ben Richards had studied alien anatomy for years. Waiting for this moment, the humans had been planning for this encounter long before they ever left Earth. How many of your kind are there? Jake asked the alien admiral. Thousands of worlds, Vexdock replied weakly. Millions of ships. Jake smiled. Good, that means we'll have plenty of practice. The alien admiral's face went pale. He was beginning to understand that humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were something far worse than he had ever imagined. The Liberty's hunting had begun. What started as a defensive action had quickly turned into something far more sinister. The human ship moved through space like a predator stalking wounded prey. Each alien vessel was systematically disabled and boarded. Their crews captured for interrogation. Commander Steve Collins led the boarding operations from the Liberty's Combat Information Center. His tactical display showed the location of every alien ship, their damage status, and the progress of human marine teams. The aliens thought they were dealing with simple colonists, but Steve had been planning combat operations for years. Marine Team Alpha reports, "The second ship is secured," Steve announced. 15 alien prisoners taken, no human casualties. Captain Jake Morrison nodded as he watched the operation unfold. The Liberty's true nature was now fully revealed. Hidden compartments had opened throughout the ship, revealing weapons, armor, and military equipment that had been carefully concealed for months. "How many more ships are out there?" Jake asked. Navigation Officer Amy Foster checked her long-range sensors. "I'm detecting 3 more vessels, approximately 2 hours away. They appear to be responding to the Admiral's distress call." Jake smiled coldly. "Perfect. We'll be ready for them." The Liberty's medical bay had become an interrogation center. Dr. Ben Richards worked carefully on wounded alien prisoners, not out of kindness, but to keep them alive long enough to provide useful information. His medical training included advanced techniques for questioning hostile aliens. "The prisoners are talking," Dr. Richards reported. "They're giving us fleet positions, ship configurations, and communication codes." Admiral Vexstock sat in a holding cell, his 4 eyes filled with terror. He had commanded fleets across the galaxy, conquered dozens of worlds, and enslaved entire species. But he had never encountered anything like the humans. "You're not colonists," he whispered as Kate Sullivan approached his cell. "You're something else entirely." Kate smiled without warmth. "We're exactly what we said we were, Admiral. Humans. Looking for a new home. The difference is that we're prepared to fight for it." The alien shook his head. "No species builds ships like this. No peaceful race carries such weapons." "You're right," Kate admitted. "We're not a peaceful race. We learned long ago that peace is something you have to be strong enough to defend." The Liberty's communication systems had been busy intercepting alien transmissions. The ships advanced. Technology allowed them to break alien encryption codes and listen to enemy communications. What they heard filled them with satisfaction. "Captain, you need to hear this," said Communications Officer Maria Santos. She played a recording of alien voices, speaking in panicked tones. The translation software converted their words into English. "The humans are not what they seem. They have weapons we cannot match. Request immediate reinforcements." Jake laughed. "They're starting to understand." "Maria, can you trace the source of that transmission?" "Already done, sir. It came from a Ketheri outpost about 6 hours away. They're calling for help." The Liberty's weapon systems were already preparing for the next encounter. Lisa Grant worked with her team to analyze the alien technology they had captured. Each piece of equipment taught them more about their enemy's capabilities and weaknesses. "Their shields are impressive but predictable," Lisa reported. "Our kinetic weapons can penetrate them easily. Their energy weapons are powerful, but slow to recharge." Jake nodded. "Good. Make sure all human ships in the area receive that information." Amy Foster looked up from her station. "Sir, I'm receiving signals from other human vessels. They're reporting similar encounters with alien forces." "Show me," Jake ordered. The main screen displayed a tactical map of the surrounding space. Dozens of human ships were scattered across the region, each one revealing its true nature as alien forces attacked them. What had appeared to be a peaceful human expansion was actually a carefully coordinated military operation. "The cargo ship," Denver reports, "destroying 4 alien patrol vessels," Amy announced. "The transport Atlanta has captured an alien command ship. The freighter Boston is engaged with a Ketheri battle group." Jake smiled with satisfaction. "Excellent. How many human ships are in the area?" 47 vessels, sir. All reporting successful engagement with alien forces. The 3 alien ships detected earlier had arrived and were now approaching the Liberty. Their captains had heard the distress calls and come to rescue their admiral. They had no idea what they were flying into. Incoming transmission, Maria reported. It's from the lead alien ship. The screen showed another Cathari officer, this one younger than Admiral Vexstock. Human vessel, you will release our ships and surrender immediately. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Jake stepped forward. I'm Captain Morrison. You're welcome to try and take us. The alien looked confident. We know what you are now. You may have surprised the Admiral, but we are prepared for your tricks. Really? Jake asked. What exactly do you think we are? Disguised military vessels, the alien replied. But we have brought enough firepower to deal with you. Jake's smile grew wider. You still don't understand. We're not disguised military vessels. We're something much worse. The 3 alien ships opened fire immediately. Their weapons struck the Liberties, shields with everything they had. The human ship absorbed the attack without even slowing down. Our turn, Lisa announced, firing all weapons. The Liberty's response was devastating. Instead of the careful, measured shots from the earlier battle, the ship unleashed its full firepower. Kinetic weapons, energy beams, and missile systems fired simultaneously. The alien ships were destroyed in seconds. That was too easy, Steve Collins observed. They're not learning from their mistakes. Jake nodded. Good. Fear makes people stupid. The more afraid they become, the easier they'll be to defeat. The Liberty's sensors detected more alien ships approaching. This time it was a full battle group with 12 vessels. The aliens were finally taking the human threat seriously. Captain, we have a large enemy force incoming, Amy reported. They'll be here in 30 minutes. Jake looked at his crew. This is what we've been training for. Show them what happens when you attack humanity. The Liberty began to move toward the approaching aliens. The ship's engines glowed brighter as it accelerated. Hidden weapon systems continued to emerge from the hull. The transformation from peaceful transport to engine of war was complete. All human ships in the area converge on our position, Jake ordered. It's time to teach these aliens about human warfare. Admiral Vexstock watched from his cell as the Liberty prepared for battle. He finally understood what his species had awakened. The humans weren't just another race to be conquered. They were predators who had been waiting for prey to come to them. What have we done? He whispered to himself. Kate Sullivan heard him and smiled. You've given us exactly what we wanted, Admiral. A reason to show the galaxy who we really are. The Cathari battle group approached, with 12 of their most powerful warships. Admiral Zekmer commanded the rescue fleet from his flagship, confident that superior numbers would overwhelm the human vessel. His intelligence reports described the Liberty as an isolated threat that could be contained and destroyed. All ships, maintain formation, Admiral Zekmar ordered. We will surround the human vessel and destroy it quickly. What the aliens didn't know was that the Liberty was no longer alone. Across the region, human ships were converging on their position. The cargo vessel Denver, the transport Atlanta, and dozens of other supposedly peaceful human ships were moving to join the battle. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the Liberty's bridge, watching the alien formation approach. Amy, report on friendly vessels. Navigation Officer Amy Foster checked her display. 23 human ships are within range and closing. All vessels report ready for combat. Jake nodded. Maria, open a channel to all human ships. Communications. Officer Maria Santos activated the fleet communication system. Channel open, sir. All human vessels. This is Captain Morrison. Execute Plan Omega. Show them what we're really capable of. Across the battlefield, human ships began their own transformations. The cargo ship Denver's hull split open to reveal massive missile launchers. The transport Atlantis passenger compartments rotated to expose heavy energy cannons. Every human vessel was changing from innocent civilian ship to deadly weapon of war. Admiral Zekmar watched in horror as his sensors detected the approaching human fleet. "How many ships are there?" 24 vessels and climbing, his sensor officer reported. "They're all armed with weapons we've never seen before." The alien admiral's confidence began to crumble. "This is impossible. Our intelligence," said they, "we're traders and colonists." "Sir, I'm detecting more human ships approaching from multiple directions," the sensor officer announced. "Current count is 37 vessels." Jake smiled as he watched the alien formation begin to waver. "Lisa, are all weapons ready?" Weapons Officer Lisa Grant checked her systems. "All kinetic weapons charged and ready. Energy systems at full power. Missile tubes loaded. Good. Begin the demonstration." The Liberty fired a single kinetic round toward the alien formation. The projectile moved at incredible speed, passing between the alien ships without hitting any of them. It was a warning shot, but it served another purpose. The alien's sensors could now measure the round's speed and power. "Impossible, Admiral," Zekmar whispered. That projectile was moving at 12% of light speed. His weapons officer was equally shocked. "Sir, a weapon that powerful should tear their ship apart from the recoil. How are they controlling that kind of energy?" The truth was that human weapons technology was far beyond anything the aliens had imagined. Years of preparation and research had produced weapons that could destroy entire fleets. The Liberty carried enough firepower to level a planet. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the human ship," the communication officer reported. Jake's face appeared on the alien ship's main screen. "Admiral Zekimar. I'm Captain Morrison. You have one chance to withdraw your forces and leave this system. If you refuse, we will destroy you." The alien admiral tried to maintain his composure. "You are outnumbered 4-1. Surrender now, and we might spare your lives." Jake laughed. "You still don't understand. We're not outnumbered. You are." As if on cue, more human ships appeared on the alien's sensors. The count rose to 50 vessels, then 60, then 70. Each ship was armed and ready for battle. "This is a trap," Admiral Zekmar realized. "You've been planning this for years," Jake confirmed. "Every human ship in this sector has been waiting for someone to attack us. You've given us exactly what we wanted." The alien admiral turned to his officers. "How many human ships are out there?" "Current count is 8 vessels, sir. They're surrounding us completely." Jake continued his explanation. "You see, Admiral, humans learned something important about the galaxy. It's full of predators looking for easy prey. So we decided to become the apex predators, the Liberties." Medical Bay had finished interrogating the alien prisoners. Dr. Ben Richards had extracted valuable information about Kethari fleet positions, supply lines, and military capabilities. The data was already being transmitted to other human ships. "Captain, we have complete intelligence on enemy force dispositions," Dr. Richards reported. "They have 47 main battle fleets scattered across their territory." Jake nodded. "Excellent. Begin Phase 2 operations." Across the galaxy, human ships that had been posing as traders and explorers for months were simultaneously revealing their true nature. Kethari outposts and patrol ships found themselves under attack by vessels they had ignored as harmless. "Sir, I'm receiving reports from across the Empire," Admiral Zekmar's communication officer announced. "Human ships are attacking our forces everywhere." The alien admiral's face went pale. "How many attacks?" "Hundreds, sir? Maybe thousands. They're hitting us on every front simultaneously." Jake watched the aliens' growing panic with satisfaction. "This is what happens when you attack humanity, Admiral. We don't just fight back. We end the threat completely." The human fleet began moving into attack formation. Each ship took a specific position designed to maximize firepower while minimizing the risk of friendly fire. The formation was the result of years of planning and training. "All ships report ready for combat," Amy announced. "Waiting for your order, sir." Admiral Zekmar made one last desperate attempt to negotiate. "Wait, we can discuss terms. The Cathari Empire is willing to recognize human territorial claims." Jake shook his head. "Too late for that, Admiral. You attacked first. You declared war on humanity. Now you get to see what human warfare really looks like." The alien admiral tried to rally his forces. "All ships, attack formation. We'll sell our lives dearly." But his crew's morale was already broken. They had come to rescue their admiral from a single human ship. Instead, they found themselves facing a fleet that outnumbered them 8-1, with weapons technology that made their own ships look primitive. "Sir, 3 of our ships are requesting permission to surrender," the communication officer reported. Admiral Zekmar looked at his tactical display in despair. The human ships had them completely surrounded. Their weapons were charged and ready. There was no escape. Captain Morrison, the alien admiral, said quietly, "What do you want?" Jake's smile was cold and predatory. "We want the galaxy to know that attacking humans is a fatal mistake. You're going to help us deliver that message." The Liberty's intelligence officer Carl Johnson had been monitoring alien communications throughout the battle. "Captain, we're intercepting transmissions from the Cathari homeworld. They're recalling all their fleets to defend their core systems." "Perfect," Jake replied. "Fear is spreading. Soon every species in the galaxy will know to leave humanity alone." Admiral Zekmar realized that his species had made a terrible mistake. The humans weren't just another race to be conquered. They were something far more dangerous. They were patient, intelligent, and utterly ruthless when threatened. "What are you?" he asked quietly. Jake's answer was simple and terrifying. "We're humans." And now the galaxy knows what that means. The battle was over before it truly began. The human fleet had surrounded the Cathari battle group completely, and Admiral Zekmar's ships were helpless against the overwhelming firepower aimed at them. One by one, the alien vessels powered down their weapons and surrendered. Captain Jake Morrison watched the surrender with cold satisfaction. "Maria, signal all human ships. Accept their surrender, but keep weapons locked on target." Communications Officer Maria Santos nodded. "All ships acknowledged, sir. Enemy vessels are powering down weapons and shields." The Liberty's crew worked efficiently to secure the surrendering alien ships. This wasn't their first battle, and it wouldn't be their last. Every human ship in the fleet had been preparing for this moment since they first learned about the hostile galaxy around them. "Captain, we have a priority message from Admiral Zekmar," Maria reported. Jake nodded. "Put him through." The alien admiral's face appeared on the screen. He looked defeated and broken. "Captain Morrison, I formally surrender my fleet. We will not resist your boarding parties." "Wise choice," Jake replied. "But surrender isn't enough. You're going to carry a message back to your empire." Admiral Zekmar's 4 eyes showed confusion. "Back to our empire? You're not going to execute us?" Jake smiled coldly. "No, Admiral. Dead aliens can't spread the word about what happens when you attack humanity. You're going to tell everyone exactly what you've learned here." The alien admiral slowly began to understand. "You're letting us go to spread fear." "Fear and respect," Jake corrected. "The galaxy needs to know that humans are not to be trifled with." Across the battlefield, human boarding parties were securing the alien vessels. Lieutenant Colonel Dan Murphy led the marine operations, ensuring that every enemy ship was completely searched and documented. The humans were learning everything they could about alien technology and tactics. "Sir, we've completed the search of all enemy vessels," Dan reported. "We've recovered their navigation data, communication codes, and fleet deployment information." Jake nodded approvingly. "Excellent work. How many prisoners?" 237 aliens, sir. All secured and ready for transport. The Liberty's medical bay had been converted into a processing center for alien prisoners. Dr. Helen Brooks worked alongside Dr. Ben Richards to catalog each prisoner and extract useful information. The process was efficient and thorough. Captain, we've identified several high-ranking officers among the prisoners, Dr. Brooks reported. They have detailed knowledge of Cathari military operations. Good. Make sure they understand that cooperation will be rewarded, Jake replied. Intelligence Officer Carl Johnson had been monitoring communications across the galaxy. The reports coming in painted a picture of complete success for the human operation. Sir, I'm receiving updates from human ships across the sector, Carl announced. Operation Omega has been 100% successful. All alien forces have been defeated or driven off. Jake smiled with satisfaction. Casualties? Minimal human losses, sir. The enemy was completely unprepared for our capabilities. The truth was that humanity had been planning this moment for years. Every human ship that left Earth was built for war, even if it looked like a peaceful transport. Every human crew was trained for combat, even if they appeared to be simple colonists. Maria, open a channel to all human ships in the sector. Channel open, sir. All human vessels. This is Captain Morrison. Phase 2 is complete. Begin Phase 3 operations. It's time to take the next step. Across the galaxy, human ships that had been hiding their true nature for months were now moving into position around alien worlds. The Cathari Empire was about to learn that the human threat was far larger than they had imagined. Admiral Zekmar watched the human operations with growing horror. How many of your ships are out there? Jake's smile was predatory. Enough to end your empire if we choose to, but we're not here to conquer. We're here to ensure our survival. The alien admiral shook his head. This is impossible. No species could coordinate such a massive operation. Humans can, Jake replied simply. We've been planning for this since we first reached the stars. We knew the galaxy was hostile, so we prepared accordingly. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Helen Brooks had finished processing the alien prisoners. Her report was comprehensive and detailed. Captain, we've extracted complete intelligence on Cathari military capabilities. They're not as advanced as they pretended to be. Jake nodded. Their empire is built on fear and intimidation. Once other species see that the Cathari can be defeated, the empire will crumble. The Liberty prepared to release one of the alien ships. Admiral Zekmar would be allowed to return to his homeworld with a carefully selected crew. His mission was to spread the word about human capabilities. Admiral, you're free to go, Jake announced. But remember what you've seen here. Every human ship is a potential weapon. Every human colony is a potential fortress. Every human you meet could be a soldier in disguise. The alien admiral nodded slowly. I understand. We will not attack humans again. Make sure your entire species understands, Jake warned. This demonstration was just a small sample of what we're capable of. If you force us to, we can do much. Worse, Amy Foster monitored the alien ship as it prepared to leave. Sir, they're requesting permission to recover their dead and wounded. Granted, Jake replied. But only from the ships we're releasing. The rest stay with us for study. The human fleet watched as the surviving alien ships departed. They carried with them the knowledge that humanity was not the peaceful species they had appeared to be. The galaxy was about to learn a new lesson about the dangers of attacking humans. Captain, we're receiving reports from across the sector, Carl announced. Other alien species are withdrawing their forces from human space. Word is spreading quickly. Jake nodded with satisfaction. Good. The message is being received. The Liberty began its journey to the next destination. The ship's transformation back to its peaceful appearance was already beginning. By the time they reached their next port of call, they would once again look like harmless colonists. "Sir, what are our orders?" Lisa Grant asked. Jake looked out at the stars. "We continue our mission. We establish colonies, trade with peaceful species, and explore new worlds. But we remain ready for the next species that thinks humans are easy. Pray." The crew of the Liberty had learned something important during their encounter with the Cathari. The galaxy was full of predators, but humanity had become the apex predator. Every human ship was a potential nightmare waiting to be awakened. "Admiral." Zekmara's ship limped back toward Cathari space, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. The humans weren't just another species to be conquered. They were something far more dangerous. As the Liberty disappeared into the darkness of space, it left behind a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humanity had arrived, and they were not to be underestimated. The age of easy conquest was over. The age of human expansion had begun. The galaxy would never be the same.